Thank you so much. Good morning. Hello, how are you guys? Come on, give me more than that. Great, right? So yes, I'm Melissa Randall. Before we start, I'm gonna make sure this clicker works. Go. I am not sure if it does. Oh, here we go. All right, as mentioned, I am an inbound writer and marketer for Lean Labs. We're a digital ad agency. And in addition to that, avid traveler, tea enthusiast, and I love Twitter. You can follow me at DriftyGal. Picture for proof. I like to travel. So before I get started on really what my presentation's about, I want to give you guys an idea of what the format is. First, I'm going to give you 6 examples of nonprofits that are using digital marketing effectively. Then I'm going to explain why each approach works, and after that, I'm going to give you some kind of basic ideas about how you can replicate the same type of approach with your nonprofit, and I'm going to give you some strategy templates, because everybody loves strategy templates. Okay, and then after the presentation, I can share slides, I'll give you my email address, and then if you have any questions, if we have time for questions, I will answer questions, or you're more than welcome to contact me and ask me about anything that I've discussed in this presentation. All right, let's go. First, who here has heard of Make-A-Wish? Right? Hands, everyone, basically. It is one of the most well-known nonprofits out there. And something that's really special about Make-A-Wish are the videos that they create about the wishes they grant for kids and teenagers. It's really good, feel-good stuff. And they post all of these videos on YouTube. I'm sure at some point everyone's kind of seen one of them. This one is with comedian Bill Hader. He actually went to a high school and pranked the whole high school. One of the students there had been very ill, and that was her wish, was that she really wanted to play a trick on our high school, and he came in. The video is really funny, really great. He dressed up as a fireman, had a fake beard and stuff. Very entertaining and heartwarming stuff. But that's why it works, right? Because they create heartwarming stories that tie into their mission. And their mission is they are going to grant wishes for kids that have had really critical diseases and illnesses. So, if you're like, yes, I want to create this kind of content, I just really don't know how to get started. Maybe it's not a video. Maybe what you want to do is create a podcast. I know that's something that a lot of people are talking about, or blog posts, or you want to do all of it. You want to create videos, blog posts, you want to create podcasts. Key is to find the right medium, and I'll go into that in a second. Second, a great way, and basically what Make-A-Wish does is they interview people that they help. They're basically just interviews. They sit down, they have a conversation with somebody, they throw some B-roll in. If you don't know what B-roll is, basically it's when you watch sports outtakes and you running across the field and stuff like that, just casual action. It's basically that footage put together. So if you interview people that you've worked with, people that have worked for you, you can create really unique content out of that, and it's pretty easy to do. And the last is, you want to make and distribute content that answers these questions. Who do you serve? What problem do you solve? And why does your nonprofit exist? That last one is important. So first, let's talk about picking your medium. It completely depends on your audience. A lot of people are hesitant to, adopt a podcast or something because they're like, who's going to listen to a podcast? Is my audience going to tune in for that? Are they going to get on SoundCloud? Do they have iTunes on their phone? Possibly not. So that's not, necessarily the best choice for everyone. The important thing to do before you start something like the Make-A-Wish videos is identify who you're trying to reach and what kind of content. Is it audio, video, written blog posts, or email? And I do consider email to be a form of content. What are they most likely to engage with? And when you're thinking about the person you want to reach, you want to be as specific as possible about who this person is, what their preferences are, who their name is, what their name is, where they're from, what they do, what they care about, everything. So for example, are you trying to reach my mom who watches sentimental videos on Facebook and cries all the time, lives on Facebook? That's my mom. Don't tell her that I put her in this. Or, are you trying to reach one of my socially conscious friends who snarkily replies to things on Twitter all the time? And you're thinking, why does this really matter, Melissa? Does it really matter the difference between these two women, these two people? It absolutely does. because it's going to determine the tone of your content. It's going to determine where you deliver it. It's going to deliver the format, the messaging, everything. It really does. There's a big difference between those two types of people. So if you are thinking, yes, I want to create like interview videos like Make-A-Wish, but I really don't exactly know who I'm making it for, go back and figure it out. Something that I like to use is a buyer persona template. Who here is familiar with buyer personas? I'm sure a lot of people are already. This is the template that we use, and it looks kind of crazy in depth, but it's really important because not only are you making up a character of the person you're trying to reach, you're really digging into how they're feeling, like the kind of problems that they're struggling with right now. You're identifying like where they find information. If I was the person that you were targeting, that would say, she's on Reddit, she's on Twitter, she reads Oprah magazine, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to go into all the things they believe, all of their problems, their priorities, the things that are going to make them feel like they're increasing in status by working with you, and you're going to identify the things that are going to make them feel like they're kind of going down in status by working with you in any capacity. So these documents are really, really, really important because if you don't know who you're creating content for, you're going to create content that's not interesting to the person you want to reach, and you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources doing that. So if you're going to do it, it's worth doing it right the first time for the right person. Okay, next. Yep, I already covered that. So let's talk about interviewing people, okay? Make-A-Wish is never going to stop making these videos because they're never going to run out of content. They're constantly granting wishes for kids. They're constantly making these videos, and it's because it's easy. It's an easy thing to do. It sounds basic, but pretty much go through your donors, go through the people that work with you, go through volunteers that have worked for your cause, make a list of all the people that you could interview, and just start reaching out and scheduling these interviews. If you're not physically near the people that you want to talk to, you can use a tool like Zoom. It's a free web conferencing tool, and basically you go online, you record the call, you know, it looks like you're sitting behind a computer, but if you do it the right way, it could look really nice. Or if you have people close by, just bring them into the office. Like build a really simple studio space where they're just sitting and you're just talking back and forth with them. And then after you're done, you have all of these answers from these questions that you can pass on to your entire team with all of these insights. If you are not talking to the people that you're trying to reach on a regular basis, like a few times a month, it's such a missed opportunity. So one of the things about interviewing, and this is something that I run into too myself, is you ask a lot of questions, you get a lot of great answers, you go back and you're like, oh, okay, I actually didn't really get anything that I could work with. And something that's so great about the Make-A-Wish videos is how in-depth they get and the really like personal stories they get. So when you're asking questions, a few that I like to ask, basically right here, what life events triggers led to them working with the nonprofit? How did those experiences change their lives? And how did their life change after working with the nonprofit? The goal is to cut through all the fluff and just get to the real meat of the story. And last, making and sharing memorable content. I'm going to tell you something about video, and you can't tell my boss that I told you this, okay? When it comes to actually just filming and getting footage or recording a podcast, it's really easy. It is. Recording footage is easy. I can make a video right now with you guys in it on my phone and get it up on YouTube by the end of the day. I could do that. Look at this. This is one of the interview shots from Make-A-Wish. There's a plain background, there's a tight shot of the kid that they're interviewing, and that's basically the entire video. That is such an easy frame to set up. This is all you need. I made a list. Good camera, I use a Sony Alpha A6000 and a really good tripod. Good lighting, you can grab a light kit for like $100 on Amazon. And good audio, you just need a separate microphone. But here's the key. This is the catch. There's always a catch. You could record all that footage and have it, but unless you have someone in-house that knows how to edit film, outsource it. Get it edited by someone who knows what they're doing, trust me. I went to film school, I know how to edit footage, but there are even videos that I would be like, I'm gonna pass this to somebody else. Like, this is not my area of expertise. because quality is going to matter for that. There are a ton. Do you guys know what Upwork, right? Everyone knows what Upwork is. Yes? Okay. There are a ton of freelancers on Upwork. If you give them footage and tell them, like, this is how long the video needs to be, here's the structure of the video, here's the footage, they will edit it for you and make it look amazing. And then when you're done, share that content. Share it again and again and again and again. The biggest mistake that I see businesses making is they will pour money into making a video. They'll share it 3 times and be like, well, we only got like 100 views, so I think it was a failure. You need to share that stuff over and over and over and over and over again. Just keep doing it. If anybody gets mad, tell them it was my idea. All right, next, the IRC. Who here is familiar with the IRC? Yes. Does anyone remember a few years ago they did this postcard campaign? Maybe some people filled out a postcard. So basically, what the IRC did is they launched a letter writing campaign to reach elected officials. People could download a postcard on their website, and the IRC even supplied the addresses of all the elected officials. It was effective because not only were they asking people to do this, they gave them the resources to do it, and it felt like the person doing it was taking an action, like taking a strong action. It wasn't just like tweeting out support. They were doing something like a physical, tangible thing that they were doing, and it feels powerful. But if you're going to do something like this, if you're going to ask anyone to do anything for you, these 3 tips are crucial. First, it has to be as easy as possible. Making a donation, sharing support, it has to be really easy for the person to do. Second, if you're asking them to use any resources, like a postcard, you have to give it to them. And third, you need to be very clear on what you're asking them to do, like over-explain it. Like explain it to them like they're 5 years old. That sounds a little condescending, but trust me, you've got about like 5 seconds for somebody to really understand what you're asking. Be super clear. So for the first part, when you are asking anyone to do something, and I'll use the postcard thing as an example, put yourself in that person's shoes. So I sent one of those postcards. And basically, what happened was I went to the website, I kind of heard some social media buzz. I looked at it and said, okay, cool, I click here, I get the postcard, I download it, I print it out, and then I mail it to the person. Easy. Pretty easy. But if you're asking someone to do something and there's like 10 steps, and they're going through, they're like, nope, I'm done, this is taking too long. Because just no one has time to do things like that. So it's important to go through the specific actions that they need to take to do what you're asking them to do. Are they filling out a form on a landing page? Are they making a donation through PayPal? Like really document every single little step that they're taking, and then look for opportunities to cut that down and make it easier. There's a tool that I use to document steps called a customer journey map. Do you guys know customer journey map? Anyone heard of that? So customer journey map, this is what it looks like. The exercise, you're going to fill out this map twice. The first time you fill it out, you're going to go through every single step it takes for that person to take the desired action. You're going to go through their feelings, what they're thinking, what they're experiencing on your website. They're going to go through all of that. And the first time you do it, you want to do it exactly how the person has to do it right now. So for the IRC, I would go through that whole step, like finds landing page, and reads the copy and feels really gung-ho about it, downloads the postcard, prints it out, gets the address, puts a stamp on it, and mails it to the elected official, and feels really good after it. That is how it is today. What you want to do is then fill out a perfect scenario. If there were no budget restrictions, no time restrictions, what would that experience look like? Perfect scenario for the person that's doing it and what you would want them to do. So the goal of this exercise is to look for gaps, look for friction, look for ways to get rid of it, and then come up with some really good ideas about how you can make that process even easier for the person. Second, the resources. Any resources that the person needs to do what you're asking them to do, give it to them. Like I said, for the IRC, it was a printable postcard. Can you imagine if they had said, we want you to send postcards, but get them yourself, and look up addresses, and let us know when it's done, and tweet at us, let us know you did it. No one would do that. I mean, if you said you would do it, I know you're not being honest with me, but I wouldn't do it. And then even on the landing page, crystal clear, print and fill out this postcard. Download the postcard. Clear and concise in all of the messaging that you create. You really want to tap into their emotional state. You want to figure out why they should care about what you're trying to do, how it impacts them, and then tell them exactly what they need to do it. Here's another great example from their landing page. First paragraph, despite political views, that is a crystal clear, this is why you should care about this. Down there, this is what you can do about it. You care about this, you take this action, and it even says, take action, right there. Now we're going to talk about UNICEF Sweden. Has anyone seen this video? It was in 2013. They released this video calling out slacktivists. And I know you guys, once I tell you what a slacktivist is, you're going to be like, oh, I know exactly who that is. Okay? Basically, the video portrayed a kid in a third world country that was like, oh man, we're going to lose our house if we don't get 100 Facebook likes. Please like our Facebook page. And it was poking fun at people who regularly engage with charities online. Like, they'll tweet, they'll leave a comment, but they rarely donate. And the point of the video was like, that doesn't help us, not really. And it was effective because the tagline, likes don't save lives, it made people realize that even though, yeah, it's great to tweet something out or it's great to share something, it doesn't make a huge difference. So they asked people to donate. They asked them to do more, and the results were great. They raised enough money for 637,000 children to receive vaccines just by being cheeky and bold. I'm a copywriter, so this is my proudest slide. If you really, really want to write better copy, you need to remember that there are way too many organizations right now asking for people's attention. So if you're just writing like mediocre landing page copy and not investing in it, you're missing out on a really big opportunity to stand out. Second, when you're writing, cut the fluff, find the substance. Third, you need to figure out what makes you different from similar organizations that are also trying to solve the problem that you're trying to solve, unless you're partners or whatnot. Bolder copy. This is the one thing that I believe in that I will say over and over again. If you take anything away from this, take this. Invest in better writers. Better content creators. There are so many freelancers and people that are looking for work that are really talented. Sports Illustrated just laid off a ton of people that are looking for work. I see them on Twitter. They're looking for jobs. They're complaining on Twitter. But these are really great writers that you could hire to write for you. And they're going to come at it with a new, fresh perspective because messaging is everything. Like, it's worth the extra cost. You want to grab and hold the attention of your audience immediately. Cut the fluff. I love this copy so much. Like us on Facebook, and we will vaccinate 0 children against polio. It's snarky, but it's so effective because what they did is they identified their biggest barrier to reaching their goal, and they just put it in their audience's face. They're like, this is what's holding us back, guys. You're liking us on Facebook, but you can't donate $1. Like, really? Last, differentiating your nonprofit. Who is your competition, and why are you different from them? Why is your nonprofit leading the charge? Why are you the leader of your individual space? You want to answer these questions. You want to be as specific as possible because you want to find out what's special and unique about how you're solving this problem, and you want that to come through in all of the messaging that you write. Global giving. So anyone here heard of Google Grants? Yeah, maybe. So Global Giving, they went beyond traditional marketing, and they actually got a free PPC advertising grant from Google Grants. It worked really well for them because first they got $10,000, and they completely went through the budget, they maxed it out, and then they were eligible for this other program where they got $40,000 a month. And through this campaign, their website traffic increased by 400%. Wild. This isn't as easy to say how to do it because these programs are for certain types of nonprofits, so that advice isn't going to be applicable to everyone. So what I would say instead is to be aware of the brands that have resources for nonprofits, and also before you do anything with paid ads, please have an active marketing strategy. Do not just skip to paid ads. People that support nonprofits. Obviously, Google Ad Grants, if you have charity status, it's free to apply for that. Second, HubSpot for nonprofits. Does anyone here use HubSpot? Yes, brief commercial for HubSpot. HubSpot is amazing. Our agency uses it to build all of our websites. We use the sales and marketing tools. Everything's completely integrated. You can see everything that anyone ever does on your website, everything they click, everything they read, every email they get, every email they respond to. It's amazing, and they offer a discounted rate for nonprofits. And there's a lot of free tools too. Then MailChimp, SendGrid, Dropbox, Evernote all have discounts for nonprofits too. So anything that you're using for marketing efforts, just double check and see if they have a discounted rate, if they can strike you a deal. It doesn't hurt to ask. Next, this is one of my favorite points. I've gone through the war of paid ads many times. And the one thing that I really want everyone to know is that you cannot dive into paid ads and expect to get results if you do not have an active marketing strategy. Because paid advertising is like a steroid shot. Limited performance, short-term results, unless you just have a ton of money to pour into paid ads, period. How you get consistent traffic and high-quality leads is from great content that you are regularly publishing that's SEO optimized. And then once you have that traffic, go ahead, experiment with paid ads and approach it that way. ALS. Who here heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge? Good news, I'm not going to talk about that one. No, we've already heard about it already. What I'm actually going to talk about is an email series that they sent. What they did is they stopped writing from the perspective of their brand, and they wrote from the perspective of a doctor working directly with the patients. I love this because it worked, because people are getting tired of salesy emails. That is my actual inbox from yesterday. Look at all those subject lines. Did not click any of them. What they did is they switched it up, and they made it less about a brand asking for a favor and more of a conversation between two people. So the first thing you can do to adapt a similar approach is choose someone at your organization. Whenever you're writing an email series, decide who it's going to be from, and it should be someone who's real. Second, create a narrative for any email series and really decide what story you're trying to tell. Whether it's 3 emails, 5 emails, whatever it is, there should be a story that's linking all these emails together. When you're deciding who the emails should come from, ask, who do people want to hear from at your organization? Is it your founder? Is it just people that work there? Is it the people you're helping? Is it you? For me, sometimes it's me. This is an actual email that our agency sent out. Melissa Randall, inbound marketer, Lean Labs. You could look me up. You can find me on Twitter, find me on LinkedIn. I'm a real person. So I kind of borrowed this from Russell Brunson. This isn't ours, okay? But we do use this approach. It's called a soap opera series for new emails. And basically the idea is you're writing a story throughout 5 emails that's going to familiarize anyone that's new to your brand with who you are, why you exist, who you're helping, and how you can help them. This is the pretty graphic. If you want to take a picture, I'll move to the side for a second. But I'll also go into detail and show you guys what each email does. So first, you have a first email that introduces people to your nonprofit. You're like, hey, here's who we are. Here's why we exist. We would, we're going to keep emailing you. You signed up for these emails. If not, you can unsubscribe. Just basic to the point. Second, you're going to hook them with a backstory. This is where you're going to pull those really awesome, meaningful, sentimental stories and say, this is so-and-so, we helped them do this, they were struggling with this problem. These are the types of people that we help. Third, you're going to make the emotional connection, and you're going to say, this is how you can help people like the person that we just talked about in this last email. This is how you can help them. Then you're going to tell them where their contribution goes. This is exactly how it's going to help them. This is exactly where this money or this time or this resource is going to go. And then the last one, you're going to ask them to help. And you're going to drive urgency to the cause and say, we really need you to take an action and do something. Last example, Charity Water. Who's heard of Charity Water? Great. Charity Water basically just has incredible content. It works because the content on their website, it goes beyond just blogging. It goes beyond blog posts, and it's more about stories. When you are on this page, it looks more like a magazine or a book. It doesn't look like just a regular blog. There's minimal design, bright photos. It's really easy to read. Right here. So if you read the description, it's basically, hey, we write these stories from our time in the field. These are real stories. They're all worth sharing, etc. And then very simple, Learn how we're working to tackle the issue of sustainability and fun mechanics programs. Read the story. So it's very clear what kind of content they're creating, and they tie it right to their mission. And it looks very nice. Clear connection to the stories they're telling and the overall mission. They're bringing clean water to the people that need it. So simple. Tips how to do it. First, keep the design and layout of your blog simple and clean. Second, please make sure all the content on your website is organized and very easy for me to find. Do you guys ever go into a bookstore and you're looking for a specific title and you're like, I know exactly where to find this, but then you walk in and you can't find anything and there's people everywhere and there's no one to help you? Like, you're not going to go in and start digging through the titles to look for it yourself. You're going to leave an order on Amazon. It's just like that. So when you're creating a blog and you've got the designer, if you have a blog now, please choose a typeface that's easy for me to read. Choose really compelling images for your blog posts, and keep a few featured blog posts on the main blog page. I'm going to show you an example in a second. When you're organizing content, use categories, please. Make it possible for me to click on a topic and get all of the information that you have about that. Second, make sure your search feature actually works. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a blog and been like, digital marketing. And then the search is like, I'm sorry, our search function is broken. And there's just like nothing. Consider calling your blog something besides blog. Who here is tired of hearing the word blog? Blog articles, blog posts. It's just content. It's just stories. Charity Water calls it stories. We call our blog a knowledge base. It could be a resource center. It could be anything, just a blog. So this is our blog. Knowledge base. As you can see, very clean, easy to look at. Here are all the details. The name is more than just blog. There's a clear way to search for posts. All the categories are clickable. And the other key of that is there's not that many categories. If you've got like 20 or 30 topics or categories, you've got way too many. You got to narrow it down. Clear images and a nice clean subscribe box that's like, hey, if you like this, you can get more. Just give us your email address. All right. If we have time for maybe like 2 or 3 questions, I can answer them if anybody has them. But if not, that's my email address. I will send you the slides. I will send you the templates if you want. Or you can tweet at me with Drifty Gal. But remember what I said. You cannot say anything about me putting my mom's picture in this presentation, please. Does anyone have any questions? No, you're all shy. OK, you can email me if you want to. Melissa at Lean Labs, remember the dash, or it will go nowhere. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you guys have an awesome day today.